boyfriend's best friend disrespected me multiple times, so I told my boyfriend it's him or me.
Oh.
Put that foot down.
We're just throwing ultimatums now.
I, 21 female, have been in a relationship with Adam, 20 male, for a little over 7 months now. Yeah, I know very well that that is not a long time. We met through a mutual friend, Summer, 20 female, around 10 months ago. By the way, this comes from Chaos Incarnate, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. A little context. Me and Summer have been friends for 5 years. We met online and coincidentally lived super close to each other and started hanging out. The rest is history.
Summer.
Summer became one of my best friends, and then 10 months ago, she introduced me to Adam. We became friends and then more than friends. After a good few dates, Adam and I took a step forward into becoming more serious and introduced each other to family and friends. This is where Matthew comes into it. Matthew, 21, male, is Adam's best friend, and they've known each other for around 17 years. Now, I knew right away Matthew was not my cup of tea. He was loud and seemed to want all eyes on him. He's the kind of guy to force out ridiculously loud burps in the middle of dinner at a restaurant and tell you to rate them out of 10. And I don't think I'm the only one who thinks this way, but that's just gross. Regardless, I wanted to be able to get along with Matthew because it was important to Adam. Adam wanted me and Matthew to meet at a pub, and for the sake of it not being quite as awkward, we brought Summer along too. Surprisingly, Summer and Matthew really liked each other. And they started dating too. I like to consider myself an optimist, and that's why I genuinely thought this was great. Summer and I are best friends, and we're dating best friends. Infinite double dates and group plans. Yeah, I was eternal sleep wrong. Crap doesn't hit the fan right away. However, around 2 weeks after Summer and Maddie got together, we made plans to go to the cinema. Maddie was coming to pick me and Adam up, and we were meeting Summer there. While on our way to meet her, Matthew decides to turn to me and say verbatim, "I'm surprised you and Adam are together. He usually has pretty high standards."
Oh, the audacity.
And he says this in front of my boyfriend. And what does my boyfriend do? Laugh?
Oh.
Laughing is what he does?
Oh.
I was in shock.
Not the right answer.
I literally didn't say a word. This started a sort of pattern. Almost every time Matthew and I were around each other, he would make snide remarks or criticisms about me, and my boyfriend wouldn't say a word. I felt completely lost on what I could possibly do. Summer is dating Matthew and seems to really like him, so I don't want to cause issues between them. And Adam has told me in no uncertain terms that if a girlfriend tried to get between him and his best friend, he would leave. I barely saw Summer anymore because she was always with Matthew. I tried to set up a little coffee date with her so we could catch up, and I arrived only to see Maddie sitting right next to her. I barely spoke for the 2 hours we were there. Then I started to notice changes in Summer. She was always so sweet and shy, and it was like pulling teeth trying to get her to talk to people. Now, if a girl happens to brush past Matthew as she moves around him, Summer will snap and say something like, "Get your own boyfriend, he's mine." No one wants your boyfriend. Literally no one wants Matthew. So to put it simply, over the course of a few months, Matthew has insulted me and made me incredibly self-conscious. And yes, I know it's not directly his fault, but still, completely changed my best friend. Now, I have told Adam about this multiple times. Explained as best I can how Matthew makes me feel, how I am left feeling less than and not enough when we hang out as a group. Adam is well aware of everything and had supposedly spoken with Matthew about it multiple times. Nothing changed. Summer and I have had lengthy discussions about a health condition she has. It's not life-threatening, but it causes her an incredible amount of pain. I know all about this. The situation still isn't completely clear, but I'll try to make this simple. Summer confided in Matthew about something relating to the condition that she tells him not to tell anyone else. Matthew calls Adam and tells him about it, neglecting to mention that he was supposed to keep it to himself. Adam assumes I already know and mentions it in front of me. I assume Summer had noticed we had drifted apart and didn't know if she could confide in me about this, but that I was allowed to know I speak to Summer about it. Now, understandably, Summer is not happy that her trust was violated by Matthew and confronts him about it. Matthew then calls Adam, screaming about how I need to keep my mouth shut and keep out of other people's businesses. I will hold my hands up and say, yeah, hindsight is 20/20, and I was maybe in the wrong for mentioning it before Summer could tell me herself, but I can't turn back time, so if I truly made my bed, I will lie in it. But this was the first major moment where my opinion on Matthew was solidified. There's then another situation that truly enrages me. However, since I was made to be the bad guy in the previous situation, I haven't mentioned Summer, but I probably should have. As I said, Summer has a health condition that causes her almost constant pain. She's been going back and forth to doctors and hospitals to try and get help. Because of this, she has not yet been intimate with Matthew, something I found out about accidentally when he called Adam, and since my boyfriend was busy, he put the call on speakerphone. I hear loud and clear Matthew saying the most disgusting thing I have ever heard in regard to intimacy.
Oh no.
I mean, I'm a guy, I have needs, and I spent all this money on her and get nothing back. I was gobsmacked. What disturbed me even more was my lovely boyfriend trying to defend Matthew's words when the call ended. And that's not your boyfriend anymore. That should be your ex-boyfriend. Bye.
He meant that, well, he was trying to say, well, it's because
But you don't understand the context.
He's a jokester,
yeah.
My friend Matthew.
Yeah. From that moment, I knew I despised Matthew and I became terrified. I'd already seen how much Summer has changed, and now I'm worrying that kind of influence Matthew could have over Adam. The big blow up happened around Christmas. So again, Matthew has been criticizing me, saying I'm not putting in enough effort with Summer. Okay, fine. I'll make plans to meet up with her and exchange gifts for Christmas. We can have some food and maybe a couple drinks. We make these plans a week into November. December 10th rolls around and Matthew decides to message our little group chat and say we need to pick another day to exchange gifts. Me and Summer have made plans. To put it simply, I'm frustrated and exhausted. He said all of these things about me not being good enough friend and not putting in effort, but then he, in one sentence, invites himself to said plans that were only for me and Summer, and also cancels plans he had no hand in making. I admit I may have sort of been an a-hole. I got a little snappy. I then say, it's fine, whatever, we can just do another day. Yes, that message clearly shows that I'm fuming, but they already knew that, and I thought I would cool off and just let him win. He decides to ridicule me. Saying how I'm throwing a fit and being witchy and so on and so on. Matthew does this in the group chat with my supposed best friend and my boyfriend, neither of which tried to defend me. Your boyfriend has not stood up for you once.
In this story, he has not stood up for you once.
Not stood up for you once. Why are you still dating?
And you have specifically told him
yes.
how this behavior makes you feel.
Yeah.
And he's specifically said he's going to either stop it or talk to Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
And it just keeps going.
It's
the same pattern of no one defending.
I type out a simple but very effective message and hit send.
What was the message?
The message read, go F yourself. Very effective. All heck breaks loose. Matthew starts blowing up Adam's phone. I'm not having that. She can't speak to me like that. I deserve to be respected.
You deserve to be respected when you have consistently disrespected her.
I would never talk to her like that, and so much more BS. I send Summer a simple message and say, hey, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to put you in an awkward position. I'm frustrated, but still it wasn't fair to you. We'll plan another day. Me and Summer are absolutely fine.
We're going to get back to the story, but Sam, you have a copious amount of something.
What, John?
X's.
I have like 4 or 5 or 6.
I heard of 6 with a 0
All
behind
right,
it.
that 60 number, comes from somewhere else.
Where does that come from?
It comes from our OK Storytime membership.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Join a club almost as exclusive as Sam's X is. Well, let's get back to the story.
Matthew was still frantically messaging Adam. The situation turns into this. Me telling Adam how I would respond to messages. Adam telling Matthew, she said, and Matthew responding to what I say. What I didn't know at the time was that Adam was censoring everything that I told him to say in order to not hurt Matthew's feelings. In case any of you need a reminder, Matthew is 21 years of age. He's a big boy. He should be able to handle being criticized for his behavior. I only found this out because I wanted to read a very lengthy message from Matthew rather than Adam read it out. I tried to take the phone to read it, and Adam starts to trying to hide the phone from me, whether it was to hide the fact that he had been rewording my thoughts and feelings so they were more palatable for Matthew, or if it was to ensure I don't send Matthew any messages that were too harsh. I still don't know, but I do know that I was enraged.
No, what it was is he was censoring what Matthew was saying about OP.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
That's what I was going to say.
That seems like the most obvious.
I freaking bet that Matthew is like
saying
crap
heinous stuff.
Yeah. Eventually, the situation falls into eternal sleep after I agree to start over with Matthew. But I then have a long conversation with Adam about how I understand that his best friend is a huge priority to him, but I need to be one of his priorities also. about how I'm hurt that he would edit my feelings to save Matthew from getting hurt. But Matthew has been treating me terribly, and Adam has never come to my defense. Adam really seemed to have understood me and swore up and down that he would keep an eye on it. Obviously, the peace didn't last more than a couple of weeks. Eventually, we all met up to exchange gifts, and it's fine. Until Matthew made a tiny comment. It wasn't enough for me to feel justified in calling him out, but it still bothered me. Me and Adam have been discussing redecorating his flat. However, I mentioned how we could maybe move to our own place because even though he has been very welcoming since I moved in, it still feels like Adam's home and I'm just staying there. Now, I will say this wouldn't be happening just yet. We talked about the things we would like to do to his flat and the money we need to save, and we wouldn't be able to make any of those changes until around July, August time. And the changes would cost more than to put money together to get a slightly bigger place for us both and have a couple months rent saved too. By the time any of this happens, we will have been together over a year. This was brought up by Adam, and Matthew is very quick to piss in our cereal. He tells us, whoa, don't rush into anything. You might break up and then you'll be stuck. Honestly,
That's kind of
good
I
advice. Agree with Matthew.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got here, but I agree with Matthew.
We are hereby agreeing with Matthew.
One time. And yeah, maybe it was just him being concerned that his friend was moving too quickly. But again, we would have been together over a year at that point. And the way he said it, it truly felt like he was hoping we would break up. Then he pulls Adam to a side not long after that and tells him how upset he is, how he feels as though since I'm becoming Adam's girlfriend, he doesn't see him anymore. Need I explain why that feels like he's trying to blame me for the distance starting to grow in their friendship? Yeah, I didn't think so. Just in case any commenters want to accuse me of causing them to drift apart, I actively encourage Adam and Matthew to hang out. I just don't want to be part of it. Back to the point, like I said, I didn't say anything, but I just feel so done. We said we would start over, and already we have another little comment. Now that most of the background and important information is done, let's get on to the reason I wrote this. And I'm asking for your advice. Adam's birthday is in May, and his mom, we'll call her Kat, and his aunt, who we'll call Lindsay, were discussing going on a trip to celebrate. Now, I love Kat, and I love Lindsay. They're truly awesome, and I felt so welcomed by them both. They were thinking of places we could visit and decided on a city a little ways away, but not super far from where I live. And let me stress this, they were planning a trip for 4. Lindsay, Kat, Adam, and me. As soon as it's mentioned, Adam says, well, Matthew will have to come too. No, which to put it simply is my idea of hell. We would be stuck in completely new city, miles upon miles away from home with no escape from each other for a whole weekend. And to rub salt into the wound, we would be drinking. I can only speak for myself on this, but I would rather fall into eternal sleep than be in that situation with Matthew. I've tried to have a chat with Adam about maybe doing something with Matthew before or after the trip, but he wasn't interested. Even Kat, Adam's mother, tried to dissuade her son from including Matthew in the plans. I haven't told Kat anything about how Matthew has treated me at this point, though she definitely didn't say this for my sake, but Adam seemed insistent. I have now been sitting on this for a couple of days, and I'm starting to think I need to have a lengthy conversation with Adam. The way I see it, I would never ever put Adam, the man I love, in a situation where I knew he would feel uncomfortable and unwanted. I would never want him to feel like an outsider when he's with me, so why is it okay for Adam to put me in a position that he knows very well? I'd feel uneasy and like I would rather be anywhere else in the world. So on to my ultimatum. I want to tell Adam that either I go with him on the trip or Matthew goes with him, but if he chooses Matthew, I can't promise he'll have a girlfriend when he gets back.
No. We're just doing ultimatums
Girl,
now?
No, not the
don't
ultimatum.
do an ultimatum. Just freaking leave him. The issue is I don't want him to feel obligated to choose me because he doesn't want to break up. But the whole time he secretly wishes Matthew was with him. I also can't say with complete honesty that I could trust my boyfriend when Matthew is with him. I won't go into detail.
That sounds concerning.
But I know far more than I would like to about their lads' holiday and the things they both got up to. And I don't know if I could actually handle them going on another without suffering with crippling anxiety because I'm not there to make sure nothing happens. So yeah, I don't know if I could stomach sending my boyfriend on a trip with his terrible influence of a best friend, who I will remind you has been very vocal about his dislike for me, has spoken freely about how he's not happy that his girlfriend didn't have spicy sleep with him after only 3 months of knowing her, despite how much money he threw at her, and who I know likes to drink and party and do things that many would be more cautious about. There's also the whole, why should I have to issue an ultimatum for my boyfriend to actually consider my feelings and put me first for once? I'm not blindsiding him with this. He knows everything that Matthew has said and done and why I don't like him, and he should have the brain capacity to understand that I wouldn't want to be in that situation. What's truly mind-boggling to me is that his mom and aunt are planning a short trip for his birthday, an unofficial family trip, and his first instinct is to invite his best friend? Like, why is that even something that crosses your mind? I do love my boyfriend very, very much, and I see myself living a very happy life with him, but it just feels like this is a look into what the rest of my life will be like if I stay with Adam and never put my foot down. Yeah.
But an ultimatum is not a boundary.
No, it's not a good way.
I want to repeat it. An ultimatum is not a boundary.
My very good friend said he's a good boyfriend and he excels at the easy stuff, the gift giving and the affection and the words of affirmation, but he's not very good at the hard stuff, the talking things through, the working through issues, making tough decisions. I don't want people to read this post and think he's a bad person. He's not, but
Bad boy.
you wouldn't be a bad person if you listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to OK Storytime on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. And there is a little bit left to this story. Let's
Please.
freaking get into it. I need her to break up with her boyfriend so bad.
It seems
I
like,
need an update.
yes.
I need like an update after this. I need to see if there's an update where she breaks up with her boyfriend. I don't want Adam to think he has to choose between me and Matthew, but at the same time, it feels like he kind of does have to choose. Girl,
What
he's already chosen. He's already chosen and he didn't choose you.
And you said that you wanted him to choose. You're
Yeah,
like, I'm going to
yeah.
give him an ultimatum,
You
but I
already
don't want him to
said-
have to choose.
You already said you wanted him to choose. He has already chosen, and he chose Matthew. No, but I'm saying his action. No, his actions have already shown that he's chosen Matthew. He swore to me that he would make me a priority and start putting me first every now and then. And nothing has changed. And my feelings are still brushed to the side. Adam is a man who I would love to marry one day. Girl, don't do that. But right now, the only thing I can picture when I think about us getting married is me walking down the aisle to see Adam with Matthew right next to him, just constantly there, constantly making me feel small and insignificant. It would hurt me to lose him, but I just don't know what to do anymore. Please, I'm happy to accept my judgment. If I'm the a-hole, then I'm the a-hole. All I ask is that you give me some advice on how to handle this because I can't keep doing this. And that is the end of that frustrating story.
I got some advice.
Give
All right.
some advice, please.
Real simple. Adam is a package deal with Matthew.
Yeah.
That is his best friend. He's explicitly said from the very beginning and even throughout your communication about your upsetness and your discomfort with Matthew that nothing is going to come between him and his best friend. So they are a package deal. If you continue to date Adam, you're continuing to date Adam and Matthew. If you marry Adam, you're going to marry Adam and Matthew. If you do not want to do that, then you're going to have to break up.
You're also becoming a terrible person. I mean, not terrible person. You're just becoming that person that's like, you're trying to ruin a friendship and you're giving him that ultimatum. And that's just, it's going to be the point of if he does choose either side, he's going to resent the other.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. And again, he's already made his choice. Every time Matthew has been awful to you, he has let it slide. He does not place you above. But that is the end of that story. But if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.